Well, hi everyone. I'm John Retland, and this is my review of WWE Raw from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Super Saudi Showdown Go Home show, and it wasn't very good. It wasn't. The crowd was pretty electric, but honestly, this show, for any good that it did, the putrid far outweighed any good. So this review is not going to be very goddamn long. I will be reviewing Super Saudi Showdown, by the way, this Thursday, because why the fuck not? The show can't be any worse than the other ones that they've done in Saudi Arabia, in that vibrant, progressive country. So anyway, we have recaps of what Orton's done to Edge and then Matt Hardy and stuff like that. Expect Matt Hardy to be out in a full body cast next time. Oh wait, no, his deal is up on Sunday. So he's probably done. And he's probably going to go to AEW or somewhere. I don't know. And here he is. He says he's sorry. He's trying to fit in with the Canadian crowd. And I love so many of my friends up in Canada, so many of my mutuals. You guys are awesome. If any of you were at this show, I hope you had a blast. Because I don't think a lot of people watching this show at home had much of a blast. So he says, I met somebody years ago named Adam. You may know him as Edge. Because Orton is explaining everything to us like we're idiots. And he's like, I don't expect any of you to understand why I did what I did. And here's Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens says, I'm going to take care of everybody in Rollins' group, including their little buddy Murphy. I see what he did there. And then he starts talking about how he was so excited to see Edge come back and to face him. And Orton took that away. So, hey, let's have a match. Okay. And then Orton says, well, you think you know me? Aha, cheeky little reference there. They're going to have a match later. And then Charlie interviews Zelina and Angel Garza. And it's kind of funny that, Charlie's able to look down on somebody because Zelina is so goddamn short. She's good, she's charismatic, but she's really short. And then Angel says, well, mixing business with pleasure. Well, with Charlie, with you, it's always pleasure. And when he kisses her hand, she douses the floor, if you know what I mean. So then we get Humberto Carrillo versus Angel Garza with Zelina Vega at ringside. The best match of the night. There was one other good match, but a lot of the rest of the show was phoned in. This got a lot of time. Unfortunately, Jerry Lawler, who is still on fucking commentary, by the way, and should not be on commentary, and I don't care that he was a name or he is a name that people know and everything, and casuals may know him. I don't care. Even JR's commentary at times can hit some decent notes. Tony Schiavone, who had not been watching wrestling all that much and had only made the occasional appearance, like on MLW recently, knows more about wrestling now than Jerry Lawler seems to, or at least seems to care more than Lawler does. Because he said at one point, Humberto was just jealous because his girlfriend grew a mustache before he did. Okay, Lawler, so let's, chalk up all that right there. So first you're knocking Humberto for absolutely no reason. You then say he should go back to Monterey and start a boy band. Look, I'm all for offensive comedy and stuff like that, but Lawler should try being funny. He should also try being, somebody that isn't like the worst aspects of old school wrestling. Jerry Lawler was a territory guy for a good reason. He never would have made it in WWE like at the height of his career because, he was a basic worker. Sorry, I never cared for Jerry Lawler. If there were people that did, fine. But taking the opportunity to dump on Jerry Lawler is a pretty damn, spicy and enticing idea because Jerry Lawler's been shit for a lot of years and he deserves every bit of ridicule that he gets. He is fucking rotten on commentary. He's a perfect example of why you don't need a three-man commentary team. Like, seriously, take him off of there and would anybody be missing him? No, they wouldn't be fucking missing him. But anyway, Garza wins. It was a good match. This was well wrestled and everything, and despite Lawler's commentary, his atrocious commentary, we then get Ricochet and Luke Gallows. Ricochet, by the way, facing Brock Lesnar this Thursday at Super Saudi Showdown. It's going to be 5 minutes. 5 minutes tops. I will be amazed if it even goes that long. Ricochet might hit a few moves, but it's going to be one F5 and that's it. And then Brock's going to get a shit pot full of money from that. So, okay. Styles and Anderson were there, and then they were backstage, and Shooting Star Press pins Gallows. The match wasn't bad. Gallows is actually a pretty good worker, but even with signing the new deals Gallows and Anderson did, they're checked out already because they're not going to be used. Vince is like, yeah, we'll use you. And now they're not using them anymore because Vince doesn't like tag team wrestling. And then Styles is yelling at Anderson and Gallows, you're the best tag team in the world because they won that trophy at the last Saudi show. And then they beat up Aleister Black because they say, hey, look at Aleister Black. So, of course, Styles getting confused thinking that they can beat up a black guy on Black History Month. They beat up a guy named Aleister Black, but whatever. Styles is confused. He thinks the earth is flat. He also hates gay people. Remember that. Remember that Styles is a great goddamn wrestler, but not necessarily the best human being. Anyway, so, okay, they beat Alistair up, but Alistair's got a match later with Rowan because we need that match again. Brock and Heyman with the same shtick we've heard before. Heyman is looking more and more like Alfred Hitchcock, and it's actually frightening. Brock should not be champion after Mania 36. I'm not saying Brock doesn't have value as an attraction, but just not as a champion. I'm done with that. I can find Brock entertaining at times, like when he beat up Rey and Cain Velasquez and Dominic. That was actually pretty funny. I don't know why I found him beating up Dominic so funny, but anyway, it is what it is. Just get the title off of Brock, have Drew beat him. Ricochet ain't beating him. There ain't no goddamn way. Ricochet has no chance of ever being WWE champion. I hope I'm wrong, because I think Ricochet's incredibly talented, but there's no way. So we then, we just, we get commentary being run off because Heyman and, Brock go up the stage and everything, and Brock was not allowed to F5 Jerry Lawler to take him off of commentary. That's unfortunate. We then get Rowan versus Aleister Black. The cage is back, by the way. I don't think the cage was there last time, but now the cage is back. And Aleister's selling the injuries and everything. And there should have been maybe a few minutes of Aleister getting beat up and then a black mask. This did not need to go a commercial break. Rowan is just, just boring. He is just so aggressively goddamn boring. He's not very interesting in the ring. And it's not that he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just not very interesting. And this cage thing is fucking ridiculous. And eventually 2 black masses, 1, 2, 3. Oh, by the way, and then earlier the cage got knocked off of the steps, and that angered Rowan, but then Rowan got beat. I don't know what's in the cage. I don't care what's in the cage. I don't think anybody cared what was in the cage. They're probably going to reveal what it is at Mania, and it's probably going to end up being, the cage is under the ring, and then Hornswoggle pops out from under the ring. Watch them do that. Watch them do that just to make that WrestleMania complete shit, because there is no need for Hornswoggle to be involved on WWE programming in 2020. So we then get Sarah interviewing Aleister Black. He says, I'm going to bring unbridled rage to AJ Styles. And, okay, he's going to face him next week. Aleister cannot go to Saudi Arabia because he has tattoos. One is religious, and oh God, that's such a vibrant, progressive country that has such great views on everybody that they won't allow people with certain tattoos there. Or they allow gay people to do anything other than basically get killed. Anyway, I digress. That's another soapbox for another day. We then get Tyson Fury, mentioned here because he won his fight. Don't bring him back to TV. We don't want that because, A, the guy's a piece of shit. I don't care how good the guy picked up, anything like, his match against Braun Strowman. I don't care how good he picked that stuff up. He is an athlete. I cannot take that away from him, but past comments, even if they were just a couple years ago, he has to prove that he changed, and he didn't really do that. I just get a scuzzy feel about the guy. I just really do. We then get Drew being interviewed by Charlie, and talks about his career, how he said he got complacent, he got released, and came back to NXT, wanted to prove himself. After an injury, came back to Raw 4 years later to the day that he was released from WWE. And now he won the Royal Rumble and all that stuff and everything. It's a good interview piece. Not that bad at all. If it's on YouTube, check it out. You don't need to watch this full goddamn episode. We didn't get the return of Truth TV. Okay, and then Lana and Lashley. And Lana apparently is wearing this 1970s house curtain. I don't know why. I also don't know why Lana is still allowed to have a goddamn microphone. Seriously, one of the other women needs to, beat her in a match and just take her off TV. Because Lana ain't interesting at all. She's fucking goddamn rotten. She's an embarrassment to women in wrestling. She really is. Like, seriously. I mean, I thought Sable was embarrassing. Lana is this generation's Sable. So, she then suddenly takes over the show and says, ring the bell and that kind of stuff. And we get Truth losing to Lashley in like mere seconds. Andrade is back next week, still with the U.S. title. I wonder why. Somebody suggested Heyman. That proves that Heyman's an idiot. You take the title off of somebody if they get suspended. Regardless of the reason, you take the title off of them. We then get the Women's Elimination Chamber contract signing. I'm going to make this brief. 1, Lawler should have not been hosting this goddamn thing. We didn't need pedo Lawler there. We didn't need that idiot. A man that has never respected women in his goddamn life. I say that as somebody that jokes, but I joke about men and women. See, so whether that makes it okay or not, I ain't disrespectful like Lawler. We get Liv, Natty, Ruby, Asuka, and Sarah. Sarah, who loves to rip on people that take time out of their day to design fan art or pay attention to somebody that's been basically relegated to main event and being on the goddamn sidelines because apparently she has the charisma of a goddamn, full vacuum bag. I don't know. This is this was fine. Shayna was not there. Shayna would show up a little bit later. Asuka would, rip the mic from Lawler and just started berating him in Japanese and berating everybody and stuff like that. And it was good. It just, seriously, should have misted Lawler. I mean, whatever. It would have been the only action Lawler's gotten lately. At least, I'll leave that for another day. Here's Shayna. Shayna comes through the crowd. Asuka says, "Hey, Shayna, bite me." And I've never wanted to be Shayna Baszler more in my life. But moving on. We get a brawl. with that. We get Liv taking the contract to Ruby, slamming it on the table beforehand. And it's like, oh, you could just feel the tension of this feud that's probably going to be relegated to like one match on Raw, which is unfortunate. So I think these two women deserve a chance to shine. But anyway, okay, it's a brawl. It's all this. Becky comes down. Becky brawls with Shayna. Let them fight chance. Also, the ring crew was trying to get the furniture out of the ring while this was going on. Now, I don't want women to get injured. I don't want this going on. But why did you have the ring crew do it? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. This was so poorly paced. This is a 3-hour show, and it was that badly paced. We then get Street Profits saying more stuff. Hey, at least they had a match. I mean, Buddy faced off against Angelo Dawkins, and it's over because Rollins caused the DQ instantly. Well, actually, it's Murphy, but I'm going to call him Buddy because it's just funnier. And then Montez Ford says, "Hey, wait, Rollins, I want to fight you." These matches were announced before Raw went on the air, by the way. And oh no, let's act all shocked that this match was suddenly made, a match that, again, was announced before the show went on the air. So it got some time, that's about it. Wasn't bad, wasn't great. Murphy and Dawkins got tossed from ringside. AOP were tossed from ringside. And, of course, Tyler Black, the former Tyler Black, curb stomps a black man during Black History Month, 1, 2, 3. And by the way, the Street Profits are going to face off against Rollins and Murphy for the Raw Tag Team Championships at Super Saudi Showdown. And then we get Beth Phoenix returning next week. They talk about her returning to offer an update on Edge. As if NXT doesn't exist in Raw's mind. Beth has been returning to Raw, okay, sure. It's just they made it seem like Beth hadn't been on any WWE programming in a while. And then we get a Rhea video package, hyping up her facing Charlotte at WrestleMania. And then we get Orton versus Owens. It's a big old schmoz. Apparently WCW never fucking left. So that's what we got here. We got everybody coming down, Viking Raiders, Street Profits, everybody fighting up Rollins' group and stuff like that. It was it was such goddamn shit. This was so fucking bad. And then the ref suddenly fast counts Owens down. Orton looks confused. What the hell's going on? He checks on Seth. "Sir, are you okay? Are you okay?" And then we get Orton and Owens with almost a chair battle. The ref takes away Owens' chair. And, Seth is all shocked by this. What the hell's going on? Well, Owens attacks the ref, and he rips the ref shirt. Oh no, there's a Seth Rollins shirt underneath. So okay, now Rollins' group basically Rollins' group and the Dark Order from AEW are doing the same stupid bullshit where they're taking nobodies and trying to make these groups matter. But at least Seth's group has talent. It has about the same level of charisma, but it does have some talent, unlike the Dark Order. This was frustrating because then it was a stunner to the ref, and that was it. This show was shit because the heel ref thing was played out in the 90s, and now we're doing it again. Charles Robinson being a heel ref kind of worked the first few times. I don't know who this guy was. I got nothing against a guy being, who was in the role, but it was shit. This is like, why was this happening? What in the fuck is going on? I don't even have anything for the show. The show gets an F. There were basically one really good match, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. And then Montez Ford versus Seth Rollins was fine, but it also was already bogged down from all that bullshit before. This is terrible booking. If this is Heyman running Raw, hate to say it, Vince running Raw wasn't much worse than this. I mean, Heyman may understand how to utilize some talent, but this show's so goddamn messy. Whoever is putting this all together, if it's Heyman or whoever, this show's bad. And Raw at times was not all that bad the past number of weeks, but this one was terrible. F. Anyway, pull up there maybe. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. And I'm John Ritland. I will be back with more reviews this week. See you soon.